Jason, lay out the rules for us. Will the mics be hot? Does Kamala get her way here? And ultimately, do you think ABC will be fair?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, so let me get into it. First of all, we have the letter from the general counsel from ABC. It's the exact same rules as the CNN debate. The Harris folks are just completely full of it. I mean, there's really not a super polite way to say it. I know we're in the morning hour here. Everything was agreed to and set last week. The Harris people trying to distract and come up with some shiny object to move away from the fact that she's not doing interviews, that she really doesn't want to debate. I think they're in the middle of a debate prep and they see how terrible she is. And they're saying, let's come up with some kind of distraction. And even yesterday, as the Harris people were saying that the rules are not set, I mean, we have the letter from the general counsel. It's all set. It's in stone. Same rules as CNN, which means Kamala Harris cannot bring her notes. Kamala Harris cannot sit down during the debate. The mics are cut off, so Kamala Harris and the moderators cannot interrupt President Trump. There's not going to be this mini audience that the Harris people wanted, which was weird. The Harris people wanted to change up the rules to have an opening statement. So there are some small things. But look, it's the exact same rules as CNN. And again, what they want, the Harris people, is to talk about these little process details. So they're not talking about the inflation of what they're doing to hurting people in this country, the massive border invasion that we have, the actual issues of causing people to suffer over the past 3.5 years that we're going to get back on track with President Trump.
Okay, if you're in New Orleans on Bourbon Street, the last drink of the night is called Final Final. When are these rules going to be, Jason, final? When will both campaigns say, yep, this is what it's going to be? Because we're getting close, and both teams have got to start getting ready.
Yeah, they're already final. ABC said that they're going to put out the letter from the general counsel this morning. But again, I mean, I have the email, so it's straightforward. The rules are all locked in. Just the Harris people, in fairness to them, they have a bad fact pattern. They have a candidate that they can't wheel out and talk to the media. It's now been, I believe this is day 38. They've said they're going to do a joint interview with Tim Walz, which is, from their end, actually, it's not a bad play, because what they're going to do is they're going to use Tim Walz as a human shield for Kamala Harris in that interview with Dana Bash. And so knowing that Tim Walz will be the shiny object, there's so much to attack him on, whether it be the putting women's products in boys' bathrooms, whether it be the charges of stolen valor or other manipulations to his bio. But again, let's keep the focus on the main thing here, which is Kamala Harris does not want to talk about any of her radical liberal positions to the American public. But when she gets on that stage with President Trump, there's nowhere to run.
All right. I want to talk about what happened on Friday. And then as we started this week, Donald Trump has gotten 2 endorsements that I never thought would happen. I guess I expected Tulsi Gabbard maybe to vote for Trump, but not come out and actually endorse him, former Democrat member of Congress. But RFK Jr., and Jason, if you ask me, he was Ross Perot, 1992. If Ross Perot doesn't run in 92, Bill Clinton doesn't win that election, and George H.W. Bush is president for 2 terms. RFK Jr., in every poll that I saw, had enough of the vote to swing this election, not to mention that he was on the ballot in 3 really important battleground states. How important was this endorsement, and how do you plan to use him on the campaign trail over the next 69 days?
Yeah, great question, because there's a cumulative effect of the RFK Jr. endorsement plus the Tulsi Gabbard endorsement and the way that we're going to maximize them out on the campaign trail when taking back the mantle and making clear that we are the challengers in this race. We are the outsiders. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are the ones who created this problem, but the media, the mainstream media, has cast this spell over much of the American public into thinking that all Kamala Harris has to do is go out there and memory hole the past 3.5 years of disasters and people forget about it. But with RFK Jr., he really taps into a universe of people who are frustrated with the direction of this country. And Rob, we're looking at about 2/3, if not 3/4 of the country thinks that we're going in the wrong direction. Somebody like RFK Jr. speaks to that nature of, wait a minute, we have to use some common sense here. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. What is happening with our food supply? What is happening with these government mandates? What is happening with this government censorship? This isn't the way that America is supposed to be, but we see that Kamala Harris's fingerprints are all over this. So the RFK Jr. endorsement is very big. The Tulsi Gabbard endorsement is very big, and it shows that we're united against this uniparty in Washington, D.C. You're going to see RFK Jr. and Tulsi out on the campaign trail with President Trump and by themselves, really pushing this message that we have to drain the swamp. We have to take our country back.